Yo, yo.
Hello, good evening.
How are we doing?
Very well, yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Episode number 2 of VWDRCTV, where we have kind of an altered vision of racing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're doing, Paul, but, you know, a dry January. Oi, oi. Well, you did go on a bike ride today, so it's allowed.
It's, well, yeah. This is our first one of the new year, isn't it? So this is...
Nah, literally, well, did we do one on New Year's Day or was it New Year's Eve?
I can't remember.
With Jacob. We had Jacob.
That's right.
I can't remember. But either way, I think that was New Year's Day we cracked that one out.
It was.
And then obviously now we're 2 weeks in and we're going to continue on. So we're going to try and do this every fortnight. It'll be VWDRC TV, meeting a couple of our racers. Maybe sometimes we're going to meet in some of our sponsors as well. And obviously it is now officially the 2022 season. So the countdown is on. And yeah, we've got some new cars to we've got a new car to unveil and we've got some parts of a car to unveil, which is kind of not really unveiling because most people know about it. But the other car, I know no one has actually seen it yet. Straight away, the comments are in. John Crawford is in the house and Lee Cordery. First of all, what I need you to do is obviously like the feed for us and give it a share. And we'll see how many people we can get watching this evening. I've already shared it on my page. It's on VWDRC. That's about as far as I can share it without going further on my phone. So if you're watching now, please just click share and like, and then obviously get the comments in there, and literally that'll get more people watching. Now, obviously, we'll start off the show with the usual.
Yep, drag
talking
days,
about
test days,
2020
sponsors.
season. We'll start about the 2020 season, shall we? Prize fund is up there again. It is mega money this year, £2,000. The champion will be taken home in VW Sportsman and VW Pro, and £500 will be taken home in the Heads Up class. So again, thank you very much to our 2022 headline sponsors: Hangar 30, Darkside Development, White Label Consulting and Managed Services, The Car Kitchen, Pro Race Engineering, Artec Performance, CG Motorsport Performance, Clutch Specialist, and GP Turbo. So again, thank you very much to them. They've put on a superb prize money for me to win.
That's the biggest prize fund in the history of the club.
Yes.
By some margin, isn't it, as well? And it's our 35th year as well.
With that and drag days, I think we're over. Well, I know we're over £20,000 that we're giving away from I don't want to say a small little sportsman club because it's a big ass sportsman club. But it is definitely the biggest prize fund out there in the UK Championships, apart from like Pro Mod and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it, we're not Red Bull or Mercedes, are we? But we are, definitely at the smaller end of the motorsport team. Well, but we're doing pretty well.
That's it. And obviously, if we talk about pre-season training, look at this. Look at this. You ready? Look, Friday, March.
Hey, got the right month. Well done. Finally.
Obviously, entry is open for that right now. People are starting to put their entries in, and the entries are coming in. We've got 20 people entered.
20, I believe. Yeah, even a couple of guys coming from up in Scotland, like Dave Henderson from Falkirk. That's a hell of a drive.
It is. Lewis McDougall as well.
Is that from Renfrew?
Yes. Yeah, he's from he's the Eco Tune Mark 7 Golf.
Yeah, that's the one. Yes, yeah.
That ran down into the 9s at our last drag days number 1. So it's good to see him back. And hopefully, literally all of these people are going to be doing a bit of pre-season training. They're either going to be entered in the race for the season, or maybe some of them are just getting some practice in ready for drag days. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, it should be a cracking day, that. So that's not bad. So that's 20 people entered so far.
Yeah.
It is a maximum of 100 people that will be entering into drag days, into pre-season training, sorry. But we don't need to hit 100. 100 is the maximum. I reckon we'll probably be around about 60, 70 like last year. Everyone will get an amazing amount of track time. And yeah.
It's the absolute perfect amount of people, that, isn't it? Even if you get 100, the track times is just incredible. You can, if your car can do it, you can do laps. It's pretty much how much fuel, how much petrol you've got in your diesel, whatever you're running, just round and round.
And that's the main thing about drag days and about pre-season training is, like you just said, not every car that's going to be attending is able to go round and round like mine. I can run mine. I've got to wait like an hour and a half before I run again. And the same again for a lot of cars. I know you're definitely not going to be hot lapping your car again, are you? You've learned that lesson.
I could probably do 2 runs back to back, but I wouldn't want to push it more than that. And so, I've got a good hour in between runs, really. Maybe a push 45 minutes, depending on how hot it is. But yeah, if you got the right car, you can spend all day going up and down the track.
That's it. Can someone beat the magic 38 by Liam Rose? That is the question.
Wasn't it 40 something at GTR or something?
No, I'm sure it's 30. 38 is the most.
Either way,
I doubt Liam's rushing. He's probably looking after the kids, but I'm sure it's in the 30s. John Crawford said he did 33 runs in the day. That's his PB. I mean, getting 33 runs is actually more like a workout. You don't realise how hard it is.
That's more than a whole season's worth of qualifying the limbs. It is, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's huge amount of testing in one day.
Now, I'll see drag days as well in June. Entry is open for that. We've got quite a few entries that have come in over the Christmas period, and exactly the same as pre-season training. I think come the end of January, that's when the entry is going to start dropping in. Like we just said, we got 20 for the pre-season training. We've not even hit the January payday yet.
No,
I think a lot of them are going to start falling
up soon. Obviously, people still working on cars. I'm the same. Mine's still in bits. Off the hanger in a couple of weeks. Get your checkbook out for that one, Lucky. So I'm not going to enter anything until it's ready, but it's certainly getting close. There'll be a few more people like that, I'd imagine.
That's it. And then obviously the last plug that we're going to obviously do is VWDRC Drag Days, which is our own private event in June on the 9th and 10th with these wonderful prize funds that you can see on the screen. Obviously, every 2 weeks, we're going to remind you, hopefully more and more people are watching this, and hopefully they'll be watching. You never know. You might even see, like, if there was someone who races in Sportsman ET, Pro ET, they might be looking at that bracket fund right now going, 1,500 quid. I've got an Audi on the drive. I can enter that.
Yeah.
Come and do it.
I might bring the T25.
I suppose, yeah. You could be in heads up in the Lupo and bracket in the T25.
The T25 is certainly some value track time with its 28-second quarters or whatever it is.
I can't say anything. The Tuareg is only just a little bit quicker. Anyway, right. 9 minutes. 9 minutes we've babbled on.
Yeah,
I think it's time to get the gloves off, isn't it?
It's
going to be a funny show to this season.
Special guest.
So both of you will obviously know our racers, as you can see pictured here. Teammates, almost kind of thing.
Yes.
They spent a lot of time together this season. Right. Into the room. Boom.
Here he comes.
Weighing 300. How much is 300 pounds? That's American, isn't it? 300 pounds is quite a lot, isn't it?
James is currently in the YCA, as we can see.
And that's me wet as well.
And his contender.
I'm going for the homeless lot.
Mace.
Evening.
A little bit of background. Ben and James have both built new cars or are building new cars. I think we're going to see some exclusive pictures tonight, aren't we? Of at least one of them.
Yeah, man. Oh, we got
James supply some exclusive pictures
All
of
I've got
parts.
is just a big pile of expensive parts.
Well, without getting into tit for tat, which engine's better, and obviously we all know. Why don't you guys take it away? Tell us what you've been doing then. Go on, James.
Oh, the first thing, I do have a question for Ben.
Yep.
Did we disappear there? Ooh.
Oh. We hit 12,500 RPM when I accidentally went first, second, first. The car identified as a motorbike very briefly, and then gave up. At least all three wheels stayed on, though.
Oh, what are we talking about here? Now that was like, was that pre-season training day, or was that one of the first Yam Yam racing days?
Oh, I can't
I
remember.
think that was Yam Yam Racing.
Yeah, because
What
I
I
was
find
already
even
in
funnier-
I think it was
pre-stage.
Yam Yams.
Was over Christmas when Kieran Jenkins, Mark 1 Kieran videos on YouTube uploaded the video. I didn't actually realise that run was against Ben as well.
Yeah. We've still yet to run against each other, which is amazing, since of all the back and forth. But that was the one run where we were like, right, this is it. First person set a 10. And I got pushed back for burning down on the lights and started leaking. And James left the wheel on the track.
Well, I don't want to worry you, but me and Jacob have kind of got the same sort of rivalry that you two have had. Now, me and Jacob have been racing. Well, Jacob's been racing since, I think, 2011. So 10 years, good 10 years. We've actually never raced in competition in 10 years. We've raced side by side originally when he had the Golf and I had the Golf, and he tanned my ass every time. And then when we got into competition, I basically built the 20-valve motor, which subsequently blew up. And then I was back into sportsman. But at the same time, Jacob had dropped down into sportsman because he was building the Jetta. So even when I was in pro with the Golf, I never got to race Jacob. And then the next season when I raced with, I think it was the Mark III VR6, Jacob had then finished his Jetta, was back in a pro. So we've basically just been on opposite classes for 10 years. And still we were well, I thought we were going to race this year at Bug Jam. He was super confident he was going to beat Alex Knott in round 1, I think it was, at Bug Jam. I won my race, and I was supposed to be facing Jacob, but Jacob basically lifted off so early, Alex managed to catch up with him, drive around him, and knocked him out. That's why he packed up at Bug Jam and went home.
Smooth.
It's not like Jacob to leave early.
Go early again.
So obviously, what we'll do is we'll talk about a few of the cars. I'm going to flick through because both of you again have got the same sort of story. Many moons ago, looking back here to the Team Militia work garage when James bought his beautiful full interior Mark III Golfs.
I'm not getting rid of that interior.
What was it you said about this car, James?
Oh, I was going to stay on the road and I was never going to take the interior out.
How's that working out for you?
Didn't last long, did it?
Getting expensive very quickly.
Luckily, you sold that interior and bought a genuine carbon bonnet.
Badly wrapped carbon bonnet.
Was it wrapped? I didn't even notice.
Oh,
so evil. Now, obviously, that car you started off VR6. Did you go nitrous on top of that?
supercharged.
Straight
Tried
to
the nitrous,
supercharged.
killed an engine.
Naturally.
Yeah, so when I got the car originally, it came with a Vortex supercharger, bit of an impulse buy, and then things spiraled out of control rapidly after that.
When you say impulse buy, you actually bought a few of them, didn't you? You had it like a stock.
No, so the superchargers. So I basically had to go in one of the other races, Sam's Mark II at the back of work. Did a stonking great big burnout down the side of work, big set of figure 11s. 2 weeks later, went and found the Mark III that had the supercharger on it. And Sam basically said, "You need this. You need to come racing." So 2 weeks later, got that, and then more superchargers I found, the more I bought them. So
That's it. It's like old school Bitcoin.
I don't know. Have you seen the price? Have you seen the price of strict manifold today?
Yeah. What the hell? Which one did you see? Did you see the 1,700 one or the
£2,500 the guy
£2,500?
wants.
Jesus.
Bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the 2.5 and then I saw the 17.
And how many horsepower does that give you? Is it about 7?
Yeah, tops.
Yeah. It's a no-no from me. Now, obviously, on the opposite side, Ben did exactly the same. He went and bought an Audi S3. He messaged me. And he's like, I'm going to do sportsman. I bought an Audi S3. I'm basically going to run it as a road car. I think within about, what?
A minute?
Probably a month, it started to look like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that you're a bit of a dab hand at being a fabricator.
No, so that was a purchase off our apprentice, and where we needed to get rid of it. And I said, look, I'm not looking for a car. And then he came around the next day and he goes, are you sure you're not interested in it? Cash. And bought it ridiculously cheap with the renowned, really strong 1.8 turbo engine in. And I think I lasted 2 days after I messaged you. Interior was out and sold. And then just started making stuff for it. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. Very quickly found out that Chinese turbos, some are good and some are terrible.
No, they're all terrible.
Yeah.
China makes like 6 billion turbos a year and one is okay. That's it.
How many engines have we killed? Well, I've never been to pod and not pushed the car on the trailer.
That's
which
disappointing.
isn't great. Yeah.
That is pretty good going. I think I've only done technically 1, 2, killed 2 maybe 3, 2.5.
I've done.
Not bad going.
I've done 2 in the Lupo. One was a standard engine. I wasn't too fussed about that. The second one wasn't, and I was so cross. I drove it on with the big end rattling on the not pushing this thing. the crank's already scrapped. It's just going on the trailer.
What's that noise, Paul? Just full red face. Don't care. Put it on the trailer.
Don't care. This thing weighs 8 billion tons. I'm not pushing it. I haven't got a winch.
Don't worry. Putting that lighting bonnet on it is going to make all the difference this season.
Which lighting bonnet?
Your red one.
It's the same as the yellow one. In fact, yeah, Dom Crawford was going to make some fiberglass ones. He hasn't said anything, so.
No, that's it. Now, obviously, Ben, your Audi kind of spiraled. I still love the look of this. These photos from Ultimate Dubs. I think it was like E47 Photography took these. You went along and basically sat on the Santa Pod stand. It did look badass. I know it got a lot of attention.
Yeah. So that was before we'd even had the car mapped. I think it was Volks Workshop that mapped it that time. But we actually had to push it into the hull. So it looked a lot faster than it actually was.
I think I've done that 3 times now, in fact. Just the natural. All you have to do is you just tell them it's a race car, not allowed to start it up. Unless you're Lee Ross. If you're Lee Ross, then he put it on the 2-step in the hall and had security thinking people were being shot.
Nice.
Now, of course, the cars are kind of evolved, but they've come to the end of their life. Now, James is obviously yours is still for sale, still complete, I believe, as well.
Yep. Yeah, going to keep it complete until everything's ready for the transplant. It's just a lot easier to shift everything around while it's still all together. So it's going to stay buttoned up for the time being.
You had a few people sniff around it at all, or do we need to do you an advert this evening? Why don't you tell a few people who's watching, go buy my car?
Can do. I'm not, in all honesty, not in any hurry. When it comes to the time for it to go, I'll push it as hard as I can. But at the moment, it's quite happy sat there collecting dust.
like most cars. Got a few of them.
Whilst mentioning cars for sale, I do have quite a nice Mark II.
Oh, shameless plug.
Nice segue.
If anybody fancies a really original Mark II Golf DPI 16 valve in red 3-door, the best one, message me.
No. Did you see on the forum that I don't know, Alex was like, God, I missed out on this one, because it was Alex who messaged me about it and I sent it to you.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You did a lot of work on it, though. It looks good. You spent some money on it, and it's been on the road, and it's done well.
It's lovely, but it needs to go. Anyway, this isn't part of tonight's show. Just trying to shamelessly plug things. So yeah, so James has still got his car for sale. Engine's still in it. Obviously, people are queuing up to buy a Mark III Golf.
The ugliest of the Golfs.
You know,
yeah.
Well, no, it's you know, it's a handsome car in its own right, isn't it? Let's face it.
It's a subtle colour as well for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
And it comes with carbon fibre bonnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It's actually a hell of a lot of car for the money, because you couldn't get the cage done for what James is selling it for, with all the panels and the windows and whatnot. It's, you know, it's a wicked start to anything, really. So if anybody out there does want to get started, you could stick a stock VR in that with a bit of gas and be in pro easily.
Can indeed. Now, obviously, this evening is all about kind of the unveil. We've kind of shown you, James has already shown everyone his. So we can start it off on, just in case some people don't know what James has built, or bought, sorry, and kind of building.
The two
built
here from James's. Look at that beauty on the trailer. All in the yellow. You've got such a pinhead in that photo. It makes me laugh.
Why do you think he's got a beanie hat on tonight?
Well, this is true. He ain't got no hair, so it's cold, isn't it? Obviously, so.
But just on that, that's one thing that I do love about this club is everyone's always willing to help everyone out. I found that, and I did message Mace, and he basically said, "You need that in your life." And that afternoon, I drove over. We got in his van, got the trailer, and we went and picked it up. And he just basically walked. I suppose the advantage is he is the boss, so he was able to just walk out of work. You all know that I don't actually work for a living, so that's always a bonus. That I was able to just go and get it. So, but no, people in the club will always help everyone out, and that's a good thing about it.
Oh, always there to reinforce a bad decision.
This is a terrible idea. I love it.
Yeah.
You should definitely do this.
Yeah.
Ethan says in the comments that needs a 20 valve turbo in it. Hell no. I'll see. So you had that dragster, and it's kind of it was there, but you're not keeping it. You've taken parts off it, I'm assuming, and you've got a new build incoming for that.
Yeah, so there's a guy called Steve who does Fieldcraft Fabrications down south. I was kindly put in contact with him, and he's now on version 4 of the design. So hopefully in the next few days, I'm going to have something on paper. There's going to be the finished article. Once Andy Frost at Penn Autos is making the adapter for mounting the Power Glide to a VR, nothing off the shelf. As you know, it's a very unique thing to be done. Once that's done, everything can go down to Fieldcraft Fabrications, and they can start doing their magic.
So ready for Easter then, yeah?
Nice. Ooh.
That's a tall order, that is.
Just a little bit.
What are you laughing at, Mace? Are you going to be ready for Easter?
Of course he is.
Yep.
He's straight there. Yep, he will be.
That was the least confident
you're looking to put
of all time.
Yeah.
I thought it was confident. It sounded confident. Now, so you're planning on putting the VR6
Not anymore, he's not.
Who's not?
So that's my dog barking at nothing because he's stupid.
I've been searching through these photos, Is that the final
Oh, what a
edition
pose.
of the Audios? Look at that.
You've either got it or you haven't.
Oh no, you were selling it.
Yeah. We may not have
What
the
do you mean
60 foot, but what we don't have in 60-foot time, we make up in kind of track presence, I think.
100%. I even managed to. It took me a while to find a video of your car actually on track. I managed to find one on Instagram to put in the opening video.
Wow.
But other than that, I was like, there is no videos of Ben at all. I don't know where you're hiding them all.
The Ben Mace 60-foot is a legendary thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I gotta be honest.
Top fuelers cover the quarter quicker than your 60-foot, which is amazing.
Wow. Thanks, Paul.
I'm saying
It's
nothing.
true.
I had a 60-foot so long once. I had a quick chat with Ian Marshall during it.
It's a tough look to pull off. Like with the 60-foots, I think the 1-to-1, excuse me, I think we've done that. I done it once, repaired the car, rebuilt the engine, and went down there with my brother, and he had a go. 3 runs, it was getting quicker and quicker. We stupidly said, one more run, and we'll chuck it on the trailer. On that run, he went first, second, first, and he's got 0 mechanical sympathy. So he could hear it knocking, and he just drove it all the way back into the pits. And goes, "There's a slight noise," and it had dropped 4 valves and punched a hole through the piston.
That's how.
So he was flavour of the month.
Didn't even need 4 pistons.
Indeed, it still ran though.
Perfect. So you wanted it.
Yeah.
So James, are you all sorted now? Your internet's as slow as your car.
James is in Norfolk. We're lucky as writing us a letter.
That's it. So James, can you hear us now? Obviously, we were saying your the Mark III had the VR6 turbo in. Are you planning on doing any changes to that when you're putting it into the altered?
Yeah, it's going to go over to function over form. It's going to see Lee for a new intake manifold. But apart from that, it's basically going to be a straight transplant across. Still running a charge cooler setup. Still running an E85. Still running the hose pipe of the 2,200 injectors. Still running Emerald software. So
don't forget your sump. Doesn't your sump need to get baffled or something for the a longitudinal VR?
Yeah. So you with your
probably there's still lots of things I need to speak to Lee, speak to Luke. I need to put the oil feed in for the number 1 cylinder as well. So there is still lots of things to do and work out.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. What sort of times do you think you're going to get? If you're running, obviously, what sort of power were you before?
410 on the dyno.
That's not bad. So it's easily going to be down into the 9s.
Calculation. Yeah. The calculations work out at high 8s, crossing just under 150 miles an hour for the gears and the tyres that I'll be running. But yeah, it's no suspension. It's going to be fixed front axle, solid mounted on the rear. It's going to be interesting.
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. There's nothing better than when you get down to the bottom end of Santa Pod track and I haven't braked quick enough. And then all of a sudden you start hitting the bumps. And obviously my chassis is a lot longer, but once I hit that bump, it basically just wobbles through the car. I'm just like, whoa, here we go again. And you don't even have to be doing that fast. I mean, I'm not even doing that fast when I go through the finish line. I still use the parachute. But even if I'm doing like 30 mile an hour when I hit the bumps, it gets a little bit tasty.
It's like going over the line at Shaky with a front-wheel drive car with drag slicks on the front. And suddenly you're on a big space hopper.
Yours does that in the 60 foot, let's be honest.
Don't want to break in case it
Right.
falls over. Don't want to break.
Now, obviously, we've been chatting to James about his VR6 altered. Now, a few people this week would have seen this pretty old engine. Where is it? Where have I hidden it now on my feed?
The
Start
Pro
mentioning
Race.
it, and now I've lost it. What did I do with it? Oh, there. I'll put it into a banner.
Look at that.
So obviously, this build. I think somebody's going to have to tell us about this.
When we started,
Well, it won't be Ben. He doesn't know anything about engines.
I'll have a word. I've rebuilt enough now. When we started this project, maybe a year ago, just over a year ago, we started talking to the team down at Pro Race, told them what we wanted to achieve, and they've kind of helped guide us along the way with our power requirements and what we wanted to do with the engine. And it's been a massive learning process for me. But what we've come out with, I think it's an amazingly strong block. We're running methanol, the Pro Race girdle kit, billet main caps, the Pro Race engineering drag rods, custom pistons, the car kitchen, another club sponsor, built the head, ported and polished as well. We're expecting big things from the engine because we'll definitely abuse it.
You will. Size of the turbo is a little bit huge. I mean, this is kind of going to give away the kind of what you've got on there, but that turbo is looking ginormous.
Yeah. So it's a G42 size frame. Where we want to be heading with this, that's the kind of power we want to be topping out at. Not straight away. We want to learn the car, make sure we can get used to it. Because as far as I know, no one's put a 3-speed automatic box behind a tiny little 1.8. So that's going to be the real learning curve, is that torque converter setup, trying to get the turbo spooled on the trans brake before we leave on the line.
It's going to be damn good fun, I think.
Looks amazing.
I think it does. Looking at these two shots here, where was the car built?
So it's built by Hauser Race Cars over in Erfelingborough. They're only just down the road from us. Jeff and Scott have worked on a car that I've previously had before. And I sat down with Jeff and said, look, this is what we want to do. No one's really done it before. And Jeff's very old school. He's V8 and a carb, or else I'm not really bothered. And we're running Fuel Tech engine management on it as well. And I think we've really swung him round to, actually, if you've got an injectors, fuel pump, all the kind of nice sensors and absolutely everything, you can really interrogate what the engine's doing and make it faster, as opposed to the kind of controlled fuel leak that you get in a cab.
Yeah.
But it's a full chrome ollie chassis. It's got full strange rear end, and obviously the engine from Pro Race. Overkill Performance, who are a performance company down in Milton Keynes. Kyle runs, I think it was a 7-second Ecotec 4-cylinder thing that he ran in South Africa. So he kind of knew what we were wanting to achieve. And they've come on as a sponsor for us as a team next year as well. So have Pro Race Engineering, they're sponsoring the car, and have done an amazing job on the engine, and helped guide us for what we want to achieve, both kind of ET and as a team next year.
It's going to be quite interesting because obviously Pro Race are building the engine for my car. So we're going to have that sitting in there, Team 12 valve versus Team 20 valve for a race. I mean, what sort of times? I mean, you're obviously going for big figures with that. What sort of times ETs are you looking at?
I don't know, because I don't really want to jinx it. But
just slightly quicker than James.
Yeah.
That's all it's got to be.
That's kind of falls by the wayside after that.
I mean, your motor
We're
looks quite
definitely
similar
hoping we'll
spec to
give you
mine.
some competition next year, or this year, sorry. But yeah, I don't really know. If we get kind of low eights, I'll be super, super happy. If we break the next kind of second, amazing. But there'll be a massive learning curve, I think. Both learning the car, getting the torque converter right, which I think everyone I've spoke to so far has said all comes down to torque converter. And with such a small displacement engine, trying to bring that up on such a big turbo as well, it was a real trade-off between how big a turbo we can go and can we spool it. So naturally, we said we'll go with the biggest turbo and worry about it later.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. I mean, with the VWDRC and the bracket racing side of things, you can run whatever you like. So you can do with the big turbo, and you can have nitrous as well if you want to use that to spool it up. But then if you look at classes like Comp Eliminator, you're only allowed one power adder.
Yeah.
So then you have to work out how, as exactly you said, how are you going to spool that turbo without using nitrous and trying to get it to spool up on the trans brake, which is kind of where I'm at the moment. Where at the moment my torque converter locks up at about 3,500-4,000 RPM. Won't go any higher than that. When I spoke to Luke Robinson, who did the spec for it, he basically said, well, the thing is, we kind of spec'd it, the torque converter with the engine to be making about 800 horsepower. And at the time then, I was making about 350, 400 horsepower. So he said, you might find actually at the moment, I'm not making the power to actually slip the torque converter. So basically, he's basically saying, you need to put more power in it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's exactly as you said. Between the three of us, it's going to be just a bit of fun learning the cars and basically picking apart different parts and trying to make it what works and what goes quicker.
Oh, big time. And I think for us at the beginning of this project, we were thinking about running in Comp Eliminator as well as the VWDRC. But when we were at the the AGM, man, that was the easiest decision to make when looking at the potential prize fund that you could win in the VWDRC. So that was a real easy decision to go, we'll chuck nitrous on it as well. Let's send this to the moon.
So did you two end up with a little bet after the AGM?
Yeah.
We did, but it's now been
James
vetoed.
very quickly redacted it.
What?
Oh, what? This is outrageous. There are so many people just not even going to follow. No, I'm outraged.
Paul's speechless.
I'm incandescent with rage about this. All these bets, you have a couple of beers and blah blah blah, and then a week later, can't do that. Me and Luke,
Paul's getting his tattoo in November.
Is your bet still going ahead with Luke?
Of course it is.
What's that for?
He's getting a tattoo in November. Of my choice.
This guy can't even put his finger.
No, him down there.
This guy here. Hang on. Here we are.
Yeah. Not this guy here.
Yeah.
Luke's got to run 8.88.
That one.
Ooh.
And I've got to run 9.48.
And what are you going to do, Pirate?
9.48. Which is basically just, I've got to add like a PSI or something and have a poo.
Yeah.
And then you do have a 25 and will it make a 9.4?
Of course it will. And when you get your I heart 20 valves tattoo.
Oh God, Paul, please make that time. Please.
Well, no, but the thing is, once we get to the time, then it becomes who gets further than that time.
Oh, we didn't talk about that, did we?
Yeah?
You can't stick on addendums.
It's literally whoever gets to it, and it's the same as Jacobs. It was whoever got furthest.
We shall see.
Don't you be trying to back out now, you little bitch.
Hey,
You're getting a sex toy tattoo.
I don't mind that. When you've got I Heart 20 bells under your eye, for your homies.
a little tear with 20 valve in it.
Yeah. little In fact, we need to book Yellow, don't we? And get one of us booked in.
Oh, well, we'll just book a slot. We'll just book the slot like 2 days after racing. That way it's not burning in the sunshine in November. We'll get it done.
There is one good thing about this bet, which makes me chuckle, is obviously I've got quite a lot of tattoos, so one more silly one isn't going to bother me. This is Luke's very first tattoo.
Told you. I read on Facebook, again, with Christians against tattoos. If I get a tattoo, I don't go to heaven.
That is the least of your reasons for not going to heaven. I wouldn't worry about that.
But what's it? Daniel Belcher says, we have a tattoo artist we can recommend. Oh, we have a good tattoo artist. Even though Ethan was very kind and offered to bring a tattoo kit to the racetrack.
Oh, that's much more fun. Yes, let's do it at 3 a.m. after mushrooming. Wake up my knuckles done.
Not a chance. Not a chance. If I am to lose the bet, Yella is doing it no matter what.
I think that'd be actually nice because we can go to Malta, get it done properly.
And then essentially all I'm going to do is get a 20 valve and then have the Golf tattooed around it because it originally had a 20 valve, and then I'll feel safe.
If I get the sex toy tattoo, I'm going to get it modified so you're holding a pie in it.
No. Well, of course. So obviously, this season's going to be quite exciting. Ben, are you planning on, if the car's running, are you going to do heads up drag days?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if the car will be, because it will be such a learning curve. I don't know whether we'll be remotely competitive at that point. But God, even if Rob Carter's running, I don't think anyone's guaranteed whatsoever. I've now got to wait because I'm 6'7". I don't fit into any race suit known to man that's made for a human anyway. I didn't realise, which I messaged James over Christmas, to run the Altered, I've got to run a SY15 race suit, which James was extremely pleased about when I let him know. But because I don't fit in anything, I've got a minimum 12-week wait for that to get here from the States. So that will massively dictate whenever we can start testing rather than the car being finished.
Well, you need that suit to run in competition.
Yeah.
But obviously you should have the right gear. But even if you just did a few test passes with enough stuff on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure.
I mean, suit and run two.
Yeah. Just one, and then just basically gaffer tape your legs down the bottom. Get some fireproof socks. Get some really long ones, and just gaffer tape them around the bottom and go, yeah.
Make sure you get some fireproof gaffer tape as well, because that's essential.
Yeah, that is essential. That's it. No, I think it's really pretty good. I mean, obviously you got your two Altereds, my dragster. Paul was kind of gutted because he wants a slingshot, and your two ideas are kind of really close to it.
Yeah, you've completely pinched my idea, so I'm going to do something else instead.
There's been loads of slingshots for sale over the past 6 months.
Yeah.
He's got to find one that's basically open air that he can get his crippled body in and out of.
Well, yeah. I need a kind of convertible. Well, if you can put a hinge in the sort of roll cage hoop, so I can get in and out. Well, I fancy a slingshot with an Audi V8 in it. Just nice.
Very cool.
just nice and simple, but kind of dressed up like an old-fashioned engine. So it looked like it had like a carb on it, and some ram turret stuff like that, and proper sort of white ceramic head and stuff like that. But that's on the list of many projects that I will never ever do. So I'm not going to worry too much about that just yet.
No, I'd never fancy the slingshot where you're basically resting your boys on top of the diff casing. So if that ever lets go, it's taking little pull with it.
Well, so is the altered? Where's the axle on the altered?
So it's maybe a foot behind because we're running a 4-link as well.
Oh right,
okay.
I've sat in James's and rested my trousers on the diff.
It's quite unsettling.
Oh yeah, just looking at the photo now. Yeah, you can see it's quite far behind.
Yeah, so we're running a kind of normal diff setup as well, because we're pretty sure with the amount of boost that we're going to launch on, it's going to try and wheelie because the whole car with me in it will be sub 600 kilo.
Wow. Well, I take it obviously the prop shaft still runs between your legs.
No. So I'm straddling the transmission, and then the diff goes underneath me.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, yeah, okay, all right.
So it's kind of a higher seating position.
Okay, so rather than one shaft rotating, you've got loads of shafts under you.
I've had a dream like that actually.
I can't wait. That looks amazingly cool. I'm really impressed with that bed. That's a proper nice looking car. That.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah.
So has Kyle been doing all that boost pipe work? Is that what he's been doing at Overkill?
Yes. Yeah. So with every stage of the project, it was so hard to kind of get across to people. This is what I kind of think it should look like and stuff like that. And like with Jeff and Scott at Hauser, as soon as we sat down with Kyle and the team at Overkill, they kind of just went, yeah, we know what you want. We know we've done this before with kind of a proven pedigree from their racing. That it was kind of easy to kind of sit back and go, okay, I can give you kind of creative control whilst it being the highest performance that it can be.
Yeah, it looks absolutely looks amazing.
You didn't fancy doing that yourself?
I did, but just with work being so busy at the minute, and at the start of the project, before COVID, me and Rach, my wife, had saved up to go a road trip around America, and then COVID hit, which put a stop to that really quickly. So we had a chat and we're like, can some of this money go on a drag car?
Oh, she's a darling.
So we'll never be able to travel again. But yeah,
what a wife! That's amazing.
Yeah, she is very, very.
What she doesn't realise that in the near future, her travel is going to be a European tour travel.
Oh, 100%.
No, you can still tour America drag week.
Yeah,
what an ultimate. Well, I suppose you could over there.
You could.
That with a set of treads on the back, legal. Go for it.
They wouldn't even bat an eyelid. What's this? Oh, it's a 1932 Austin, mate, from Britain. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
just put some black and silver plates on it. No one even noticed.
Don't speak unless spoken to.
Yeah.
Now we got Chris Lang in the comments. He's saying, do you guys prefer charge coolers to intercoolers? Now, obviously, the two of you are running charge coolers. Pirate's running an intercooler, and I'm running no cooler.
I don't have room for anything else, so I'm just happy.
I did see your new intercooler today on the side in the unit. I'm looking forward to you seeing that being fitted.
Yeah, I haven't really got room for the engine in the car, let alone any of the ancillaries. Yeah, that is. Well, the plan was to put the radiator in the boot.
Yeah.
And then there's enough space. If I took the old intercooler and ran pack out, that kind of like the sort of that one unit, enough space to get that monster one in there behind the bumper. But you need to have your radiator in the stock position. So it's got to stay there.
It is in the engine bay.
Well, yeah, as in when it came out of the factory, which is at the front there. So that's kind of gone out the window. Bit of a shame.
Could you maybe run a radiator like Stacey's, the little one he's got for sale?
Yeah, I've seen that. I'm kind of thinking there's no. It
I don't know if it'd
is
be too small for yours because obviously he ran methanol.
Yeah,
and that was literally he only ran coolant through the cylinder head, and I think that's all that was kind of spec for. But then if you look at some of the Hondas in America, they are using tiny radiators as well for the whole car.
Yeah.
I ran a EK radiator for 2 years on the S3. Maybe only get 2 runs.
I'm kind of in a place with the car now. It just needs a little bit of dialing in. More me, really. Like, if I get that 60 foot right, it's doing sort of mid-9s. I don't really want to mess with what's working. So, obviously, going to hanger for a new cage and the chute and stuff. And that's not messing with what's working, is it? So, yeah, I don't want to go too wild with it. It's kind of almost there. We'll just get that launch right. It should be bang on every time. So.
That's it. But James, you're a trooper for the charge cooler, aren't you? You've tried and tested it. You're happy with that?
Yeah, it's one of the things that, and Steve Down, who's designing the chassis, he's understood that I want to basically take the Mark III and put it into an altered chassis shell. So I'm still keeping with the full cooling system, charge cooler setup, everything. So I know obviously you run methanol, but you've already said you're restricted to like an hour cool down. Pirate, again, you've got to cool down. I've had no issues with the VR, with the setup that I've run. Hopefully, be able to transfer that across into the altered chassis. Not that I just want to hot lap it, but just like VRs do run really hot, and just to be able to keep it cool, keep it consistent, and be able to do the same thing time and time again.
That's it. I mean, mine doesn't get hot, but it overheated at the last drag days, and that was just. It was more too many runs and not enough oil changes. Ended up with a lot of E85 in the oil. If I changed the oil on day 2, it probably would have been all right. But hey, that was a really, really expensive lesson about E85.
Luckily, you're going to do it once.
Luckily, I've got a wicked bird mod in the garage now. Yeah. A little reminder.
That's it. But don't worry, you have rebuilt and you've gone quicker now, and you've learned your lessons. Same as stuff with the dragster. We've learned our way along, and there's bits that are broken.
Break, fix, repeat.
Indeed, and I think that's what the next few years are going to be like for pretty much everyone. But yes, right, we are approaching 55 minutes.
We are, well. Yeah.
Hopefully, everyone that's been watching has seen a load of the photos of the cars. Let us know what you think of Ben's car. I'm looking forward to seeing some photos of James once your build starts and begins. And hopefully, we're going to see that very soon. Because let's be honest, the start of the season is going to come flying in. Obviously, Ben, whether you'll be ready for pre-season testing in March, who knows? But times will tick away. It's all down to that race suit, I suppose. Like you said, the most annoying thing is that I need to get my race suit re-tagged. And I sent it to America last year, and then customs went, "Ooh, we want some customs money, please." And I was like, "I'm sending it in to be tagged." I was like, "I'm not paying." And they wanted $170 just to get it to Sparco, and then they were going to re-tag it and go, "Yeah, it's all good. Put it in the box, send it back." And then I was going to be charged again to get it back to the UK. So they get lost. So essentially, I'm just going to take a little flight to America, I think, next year or this year, sorry. basically fly out, post it, get it back, and fly
cheaper to fly over, isn't it?
It
is crazy.
No, that's it. We've got that, or we've got another option. There's a few people going to America in a few weeks' time. They're all going over for Sick Week in the new thing by Tom Bailey. You know, our wonderful man who did the 5-second car at Drag Week.
Yeah. Speaking of Tom,
There's a load of the lads going out for Sick Week for at the end of this or start of February. So maybe one of them might be taking it for me, posting it, and then.
Is that called sick week in the kind of American sick, or sick week? You've got to pretend to be poorly, not going to work for the week.
Well,
bit of both.
Probably because you're guaranteed to be sick on the week at some point. We've proved that.
You. Nothing to do with me. I was good boy.
You managed to hold your liquor, sir.
I did.
That's it. Well, Simon Crowley's joined us right at the end of the day. Keep breaking things, guys. It means spending money at Pro Race Engineering. That's it. Well, I would say the dilemma's there, but obviously Pro Race are all basically Team 20 valve with Stacey and Simon. Luke's VR6 though, at least. So there's one of them hanging in on the side there. But me and James will be rocking that. Don't you worry.
Obviously got quite 3 Pro Race customers here. I've been a Pro Race customer for many years now. Always done me a cracking deal, cracking service, good stuff. So, it's they're good guys to have involved with the club.
They've done wonderful. Oh, James, you are also you used another one of the sponsors, didn't you, for your engine build? Did you not use this gentleman here?
I thought that was Ben.
Yeah, the guys at Car Kitchen. I just sent down a cylinder head. Alex down at Car Kitchen just refurbed the cylinder head for me. Turned it round in literally a couple of weeks. The valve guys on the exhaust were slacker than a yak, so it was failing a leak down test massively, like 30 to 40% failure on the leak down, and knocked it out in less than a couple of weeks just before kitchen. So that's what I did in between Christmas and New Year. Swapped the cylinder heads over. Hence the reason why I keep the engine in the car, so I can make sure it's all good. Say again?
Any particular cylinder?
Oh yeah, infamous number 5, of course.
Every single VR6 wants to be a VR5, don't they?
Yeah. Every 4-cylinder wants to be a 3-cylinder.
Simon. It was my cylinder head that needed new seats.
They're just trying to get back to being a 4-cylinder. That's what they want.
Yeah. So it's the natural habitat, I think.
It's like a decaying isotope. It's trying to get back to its stable form.
The worst thing is if you keep taking the mick out of the 5-cylinders, we do have the 5-cylinder back this year. Charlie will be out with the VR5. I mean, obviously if that breaks, that's going to want to be. Oh, that's it. I mean, who can't spell for shit?
Yeah.
Who gets better miles per engine? You are so in the army, aren't you, you thick fucker?
Way to represent.
Who gets better miles per engine?
James, did you read that before you showed it? Have you read that, James?
What's up with it? Who gets better miles per engine?
It's
for Ben or Pirate. Mainly for Ben.
No, James. Read it again.
Just read that again, James.
Why don't you show the audience again?
Why don't you show what the best the army can offer? Army be the best.
Yeah. I'm happy with it.
Read it.
Anybody in the comments? Anybody in the comments want to spell engine for us?
Oh fuck.
Oh dear, James.
Okay. Well, we'll be telling Colin about this. So when we start the season, we're talking about the egg.
You would have written that in crayon, wouldn't you? Hey? If only you hadn't eaten them all.
James, 2 seconds. Ed, James, I sent you a picture of that, so I don't see why you're doing a face plant and
Yes, James. James Rose says, "Is this recorded?" Yes, sir. It is recorded, and it'll be live on YouTube at some point this week as well. So it'll be there for everyone to see forever.
So we can all look forward to seeing James Gould's new Enigin in sometime this year.
Pipe down,
Oh,
Keach, and go and
dear.
close your boot.
Well, on that note, I think that's the perfect way to end it. I don't want to spoil this. We'll leave it on the egg.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be back again with another pair of races. Meanwhile, James, have you got any your socials you want to mention to anyone that's watching? Obviously, I know
Yes.
we've got a lot of VWDRC members that are watching, but there are also people who are just fans of the VWDRC Facebook page that are watching as well. So maybe you want to push out your socials. Go on, Engine boy.
Any sponsors? You know, Oxford English Dictionaries, people like
Crayola.
that. Play-Doh. Come on, James, deep breath. You can do this.
I couldn't hear you.
You can do.
What did you ask me?
Your social medias, do you want to promote any of them or any of your sponsors or anything like that while you've got 30 seconds?
No, I broke up.
You broke it up.
30 seconds.
Woohoo.
Honestly, if you want to get into drag racing, VWDRC is going to be one of the best club I've ever joined. What?
James, dear me. Ben, show him how a professional bigs up his sponsors and any of his social media.
So if you want to follow more of our build, we're going to start releasing more pictures. I just received the final artwork for the car, so we'll be chucking that on our Instagram probably tonight, at Team Audios, which is the name of the car. I'd like to thank Pro Race Engineering for sponsoring us this year, and for all their help building the engine. Same for Overkill Performance in Milton Keynes. Again, for sponsoring us and helping us kind of achieve what we've wanted to. And again, for the VWDRC for providing the platform to be able to race and compete against fellow like-minded individuals. Whether they can spell or otherwise, we don't discriminate.
Just £25 a year gets you all the sarcasm you will ever use.
That's it. And just obviously a quick reminder while on there. Your VWDRC memberships 2021 are all done and dusted, obviously. If your membership has lapsed and you have not yet paid your subs for 2022, your forum and your Facebook access will be ending at the end of this month on the 31st. Please don't be a pain in the bum and make me have to go through every name and block you until you pay. Give me your money. Yeah, done and dusted. As you can see here somewhere, EFWD Luke on Instagram. Give it a follow. Luke Stevenson on Facebook. Paul, you don't have any social medias because he hates it. He deleted them.
Well, yeah, I've got a Facebook account which is just either beer or my dog, or lately me on a bike. So yeah, it's not that interesting.
That's it. If you want all the fitness, follow Blown Golf on Instagram. Boy.
I am
Right then, lads.
All the fitness.
All the fitness. That's what it's going to be about. You know, you watch us in the next few weeks. Each 2 weeks, you'll see myself and Paul get slimmer and slimmer as we get our hair cut.
Every day we get a bit more beautiful.
Every day.
Every day.
In every way.
Every 10 grams that comes off my fat ass, I get a bit more beautiful.
Wicked. Right. Well, we're going to go. I'm sure the abuse is going to be heading at James again. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with 2 more guests. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Do you know who our 2 guests are for the next?
We don't. Yeah. I think we need to go. Well, we started air cooled. We've done a few water cooled. Maybe we'll go air cooled, or maybe
diesel. Perhaps.
Maybe we'll even go to diesel or some alternate engine.
yeah, if anybody
Maybe.
would like to appear on this little section and potentially get laughed at a little bit, give Luke or me a shout, and we'll get you sorted out.
So let me just look on the comments. Phil Blogg says cough. So I assume he's got COVID, or whether that means he wants to come in and have a chat. We'll have a look. Dan Bean Sainsbury says, do I need to update mine? I can't remember if you said it was being rolled over. I can't remember when you joined. I'm sure it was September-wise, October. So I think yours rolls over anyway, Dan. Don't worry. But message me anyway, and I'll double check when you joined.
Yeah, if you joined after the last event of the year, so finals, it should roll over, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Anything after finals, we basically roll over to the next year because we want you in basically to learn the banter and buy some bits and cars and parts for sale. It is January sales time, so I think it's perfect time in the private group. If you've got any sales stuff, I'll do a post this week and do like a market thing. So if you've got any stuff you need to sell off, put it in there. But I think it's gone 8 o'clock. I've got bed in a few hours to work, so kind of adios.
Yeah,
I think that's how we finish it.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, James.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having us.
Nice speaking to you guys. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
Catch you later.